Grand Theft Auto 4 was published, developed, and released by Rockstar Games in 2008, and yes, it took me 12 years to play through this whole entire game. I played through it once before, about 7, 8 years ago, but I only got halfway through. This time, I am dedicated to replaying all of my previously owned yet either never touched or unfinished games on PS3 and PS4, and I'm going through release order until I get my damn PlayStation 5. So anyway, here's the Grand Theft Auto 4 review. What I can say about Grand Theft Auto 4 is there's a lot to do. There's a great story in it, and there are side activities, and the number one thing I have to preface beforehand is the whole Roman bowling thing. While I know that that is definitely an issue in the game, I actually didn't really experience it all that much in my 20 to 30 hour playthrough. I actually only got one call by Roman asking for a bowling match. So yeah, otherwise, my positives for Grand Theft Auto 4, I would have to say great attention to detail visually. For a 2008 game, this game mostly holds up well, very well. Most of the times it has great character models. The mouths actually move whenever somebody's talking. The voice acting is very well done. The game itself is very well directed, very well written too. The gameplay, here's the problem. Grand Theft Auto 4 is deemed the black sheep of the Grand Theft Auto family because of how realistic they tried to make it. And if you think about it, Grand Theft Auto 5 basically just picked up on the foundation that 4 laid on. And honestly, I enjoy Grand Theft Auto 4 as a whole. It has a great story, it's very well written, and like I said, it still holds up well, it still looks stunning. And the gameplay is actually really fun. You have to get used to it. Yeah, there's not really a learning curve. You just have to get used to the controls and like the sensitivity, the stiffness. But otherwise, I mean, they did a great job with the gunplay. They did a great job with car driving. They even have great physics in this game. I mean, you can hail and take taxis all over each island. You can be hit detected by cops, although in Rockstar games the cop details are still kind of always touchy. Like, you could be driving on the wrong side of the road and the cop will do nothing but one little bump on his car and you're getting shot. Yeah, it never really made much sense. But I mean, it's a lot more and better than most games out there where the cops just don't do anything to you. The one thing I love about Grand Theft Auto 4, actually more than Grand Theft Auto 5, are actually the characters. Okay, Grand Theft Auto 5, I love the characters, but let's be honest, they're stereotype characters. We got the psycho, Trevor. He looks like a psycho. Michael is stereotyped as the rich business husband that's basically going through a midlife crisis, but Michael was my favorite in Grand Theft Auto 5. The most stereotypical, I have to say, I have to point out Franklin. He was literally just the black thug gangster wannabe in Grand Theft Auto 5. In Grand Theft Auto 4, every character is unique. Yeah, you've got mobs, you got gangs, you got mafia. But the thing is, the writing in it, the dialogue, they make fun of themselves. They make fun of their mob and their gang. They have quippy dialogue that's actually funny, and it's like social commentary against their stereotypes. And they make sure that those specific characters make those jokes. That way you're just like, oh wow, that's cool that they would do that, and you laugh your ass off about it. And like I said, it has excellent game physics. Gameplay wise, this was top-notch gaming, at least back in 2008. For a 2008 game, everything still holds very well. As for the story, I loved it. From the beginning to about 75% of the way through the game, I kept saying to myself, this is a 10 out of 10. 100% 10 out of 10. and I actually like this better than GTA 5. But here's the problem that I started facing by the end. The third act. It's uneven. It's horrendously challenging compared to all the other rest of the game. It's just, the story is still fine, but the gameplay and the story itself, they're both uneven. Like I said, ramping difficulty. And I have to admit, the game played smooth as well up until about the halfway point. Then I did start to notice some more pop-ins and slowdowns as I gradually drove to a more unknown part of the island, or like more of a draw distance in the islands and whatnot. I did experience some technical issues, but not really that often. They happen, but not often. Another thing that I have to say that's uneven, while I appreciate the attention to detail in the visuals are also uneven. So the gameplay and a lot of the cutscenes look excellent. Even in 2020, they still hold up extremely well. But in every 3 cutscenes or 3 parts of gameplay, you get one cutscene or just one scene in general where the character models look muddy and the mouths just kind of flap up and down like that while they're talking. Otherwise, outside of those far and few in between scenes, everything else holds up well, looks fantastic. And that's really all I can say about Grand Theft Auto 4. I love it, but I hate the third act. Plain and simple. So my final verdict for Grand Theft Auto 4, I had to drop it. I had to knock it down. I had to. It's an 8 out of 10 for exact reasons I just stated. And I think that's still a really good score. Definitely, you should always play this at least one time. Buy it, definitely. Rent, fine. Rent it, that's fine. If it's an older game, rent it, that's fine. If you haven't played this game yet, you need to play it. I think this was the foundation for what they based Grand Theft Auto 5 on. They just added more realism to it. And the thing is, Grand Theft Auto 4, to me, I think Grand Theft Auto 4 is actually more realistic than 5. Just the story, the eccentric nature of the gameplay. Grand Theft Auto 5 was more over-the-top based, whereas Grand Theft Auto 4 is grounded in full-on realism. And that's what I love about it. I love the storytelling in Grand Theft Auto 5, don't get me wrong. But Grand Theft Auto 4, when it comes to realism, beats it. Hands down. So anyway, Grand Theft Auto 4, 8 out of 10. Thank you.